Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Mercenary Tier 9 medium tank, the Sharpshooter. Now the Sharpshooter is a tank that obviously has been in the game for quite a while since Mercenaries came out, or a couple of months after Mercenaries came out anyway. And it's basically the hull of the T95E2 and the Chieftain turret with the E50 gun. So with this gun, it's sexy accuracy, not that great a pen, an aim time that's a little bit rough, but for the most part, it's a damn nice gun. The mobility of the tank is not the best. You get a 48 km/h top speed, and you kind of get wrecked on ground resistances, and you're also pretty bad at traversing, so your track traverse isn't the best either. So it kind of lets you down in that way. Your turret armour is just the Chieftain though, so it's really good. Obviously you do have a cupola that can be penned, and people do hit that cupola, but for the most part it is a really solid turret. So when this tank goes hull down, it has a lot of fun. But it, like I say, it does have the problem with the 50 gun that obviously it is really accurate, but it does have 220 pen on its standard AP rounds, which can struggle against tier 9s and 10s. It can struggle, but you do have those absolutely beautiful 270 APCR rounds though, and the APCR rounds are delightful on this tank. They are really, really useful, really, really good, and it just helps you go through what you need to go through. So, in terms of a crew for the Sharpshooter, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Trap Mechanics, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Clutch Braking, and Off-Road Driving. Off-road driving to help my tank with the ground resistances, like I say, because they're not the best for the tank. Clutch braking, because like I say, it doesn't traverse very well. So I make sure it traverses as good as it possibly can do with clutch braking. And then run and gun and steady aim, because, well, you're always going to make your tank 10% more accurate. Making it that little bit more accurate on the move as well is quite nice for this tank. When you're trying to move between positions, you can be more accurate with the gun, and that's, like I say, pretty nice. In terms of equipment, I do run rammer, vert stabs, and optics. I run vert stabs just to make it even more accurate, but that's because when I was playing it, the gun started to really frustrate me at times with some of the shots it was missing. But to be honest, that was out of pure frustration. Sometimes it's really great, sometimes it's not. That's RNG, right? You could run the traction system on this tank pretty easily. Make your track traverse even better than it is with clutch braking, because like I said, the track traverse is pretty poor, and then you also get the added benefit of having a better top speed. And with the traction system, you get an extra 4 km an hour or 4.8 km an hour on your speed, so you go up to 52 km an hour, which is pretty decent, and would definitely help with the speed of the tank, right? So that's definitely an option you can do. It's all up to you. Whether you want vert stabs to make the gun just that little bit better, make yourself a little bit faster, or if the 2.7 second aim time is really annoying to you and that's what frustrates you about the gun, you could run a GLD and make your aim time way better with that. It's really up to you. Or you could run vents. There's any possibility. Or a camo net. There's a lot of different possibilities for it. But yeah, it's down to you and how you want to play it. So in this first game, we're on El Alamein. I had to think about it there for what map we're on. And we're in this little position here that I like to take at H4. We've done 2.6k damage so far with 812 assistance. Make that 2.7k with the shutdown of the machine. And this position I really like. This is one of those positions that you can get good shots out up this northern end like I am here. And you can do well to get shots at the guys that are along the 2-3 line behind me. I can start putting shots into them. Randy at the minute is trying to spot up that DE area, so I was just trying to give him a bit of cover, but now I'm just going to try and wiggle some shots at these guys. I was thinking of going over, but it might not be the best of ideas, since once you go over this little ridge, there's no coming back. And you can see I just teeter over the edge there, and I'm like, no, we're not going over yet. If I was to go over right now, I would die. There is no coming back from that, so I need to use this position here as much as I possibly can. So we'll go over, risk it for a biscuit, try and track the Progetto 65 in place, but unfortunately we don't track him, but we do pen him, which is decent. And now we're going to look for a shot at the side of this E5 turret. We get a nice shot into his little cupola as he sticks over the ridge. And yeah, the reload on this tank isn't that great either, to be fair. The 7.5 second reload is a little bit slow for 390 when most things are pushing like 7 seconds and lower. So that is another thing that's not too good about it. But, I mean, overall, the tank is a pretty solid thing. And it competes really well. So, right there, see the Badger, and the Badger hits us. I'm probably a little bit lucky to be alive there, because I think he probably could have killed us with his alpha damage. But it is what it is. Now this Kampfpanzer 50T is coming in, it's like, oh no, don't do it, Mr. Kampfpanzer. And, well, fortunately enough, he took a hit from someone else when we get to shut him down. Now the Progetto's coming, it's like, oh no, not another one, leave me alone. And he gets shut down by one of our team, so it's like, yay! Looking for a shot at the E5, but there is actually the machine over there we can get a shot at, so we pop a shot into his side. And because we were in this little position here as well, we managed to get a decent amount of spotting on these guys. Hopefully get the shot to finish off the machine, which we do. And then it's like, okay, please let me reload. I want to get this shot into the E5 and finish him off, get another kill. But unfortunately, the E5 gets shut down. But we do finish the game with a nice total for the Sharpshooter. We finish with the victory. The 4 kills, 4.3k damage, 2.1k assistance, ace tanker, sniper medal, and 1825 base XP. A really nice game for the Sharpshooter. Say it's a pretty solid tier 9 medium tank. It's just a pretty solid all-round, right? Because it's not the quickest, but it's, you know, decently quick. It's, what, 48 kilometers an hour, same as an M46 pattern, I believe. The gun handling's great. Like I say, the aim time's a little bit slow, but 0.3 accuracy is insanely good, and it means you don't have to run vert stabs. The DPM is so-so, but that's just the German 105mm gun that's on the E50. It's not got the best reload in the universe. The mobility's a bit here and there. The turret armor, when you are hull down, is great because it is that Chieftain turret. And it is that classic Chieftain turret, which is just, yeah, when you get hull down and you don't have people hitting that cupola, just wiggle up and down a ridge line, so it makes it really hard for them to hit that cupola. You can have a really great time. And, like, yeah, it's really quite nice. And if you nullify the bad track traverse with stuff like the traction system and clutch braking, you can have a great time with this tank. It's pretty solid to grind out. And obviously it is a Mercenary tier 9 medium tank. It's not a premium tank. It is a tank that you can go and earn if the contract's up. It's whenever Wargaming puts the contract up. And yeah, it's well worth playing. It's well worth going for. You just got to remember that when you're playing it, you're probably going to need a handy supply of premium rounds like the 270 pen APCR, because that shot on the 257 was pretty meaty, straight into his cupola. That was pretty nice, and that's how good this gun is, demonstrating it there. But there's a lot of tanks like that 257 that if you don't hit spots like that, you will need the 270 pen to be able to go through, because it will struggle otherwise. So we're on Kaunas on this second game, and we've taken this little position here at this little rock at E7. That's because you get good shots across the whole north end, and just look how good the accuracy is on this tank. It's so good. I mean, you saw it. We polar sniped a 257, which is a very hard shot to hit. And then we've just got, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Type 61's cupola is huge, but it's still at a decent distance, and we're just snippety sniping it every single time. And this poor guy is in a bad position for his tank, because it is literally just poking above this ridge line, making it easy pickings for this gun. But unfortunately, I praise the gun, and we actually hit the dead wreck in front of him when his whole cupola was sticking out. But when ricocheting off his cupola as well, that cupola's got no armor. I don't know how we've managed that, but it is what it is. Like I say, it showed just how good this gun can be. It's such a snippety sniper. It's pretty damn nice for it, because just the accuracy is great. Once you put up with the aim time and make sure you're aimed in, it can go really well. It does have pretty good dispersion values while on the move and stuff like that though. So you see when we're actually fully moving, the gun doesn't bloom out massively like a fair few tanks would. It stays pretty well aimed for the most part, which means when you actually come to a full stop, you don't have to aim for that long, which is pretty nice. So we're just looking for a shot of this Manticore, and I'm hoping this Manticore will poke out. I am a bit wary that he might actually be able to get away without being spotted, and that's where it happens, because the tree in front of me acts as camo for him. But fortunately enough, I poke out. As soon as I got spotted, I decided, okay, I've got to poke out, poke further forward so I can see him. We did see him, and we got a nice shot into him on his retreat. And we also got a bit of assistance on him as well because we spotted him for our team. But now he's run away. It's like, okay, I've got to help behind me. This heavy tank is facing the TD and the heavy tank. I'm right, okay, I've got to load APCR because this E5, unless I get his flat side, I'm not going to pen it with the standard 220 pen. It's just not going to happen. So I load the APCR to make sure we're going to go through it. And like I said, 270 pen is enough to pen everything you're going to need to face in the weak spots, which is nice. We go for a shot into his drive wheel. We get it. Unfortunately, we don't pen it, but we, like I said, we track it in place, which is decent. Just poking out to see that, make sure that that Death Star ain't looking at us, which he ain't. And then we slap the shot into the E5. A little bit annoyed at myself there because it was kind of like hesitated round on the Death Star. That gave the E5 a shot into me, which bleeds health, and that's always not a nice thing to do. But hopefully we get to finish this guy off. He's looking for a shot of damage, though. It's like, oh, no. And yes, we beat him to the trigger, thank God. Take it. We're up to 1,000 assistance with 3.6k damage so far. I'm just reloading the AP because, again, I don't need it for any of the tanks that are in front of us at the minute. And it really was only the E5 that I needed to be able to go through his lower plate. Because, like I say, even with 220 pen, going through an E5's lower plate is extremely troll at the best of times. And going through it with 220 was just not going to happen. So now we've got the AP in because we can go through a Death Star easily enough. Manticore over there we can pen as well. Even something like the Cranvarn, which I think is still alive somewhere, we can pen with AP easily. So we're just taking this little position here in this bush line because obviously the Manticore gets spotted. I can get shots at him at the A3. If they decide to push in, I can also get some nice shots at them from here too, which is exactly what is happening. So the Cranvarn gets spotted. I try and snap a shot into him, but unfortunately he's just on the ridge, so he actually pulled back, so I couldn't quite shoot him. We're just hoping to hit that drive wheel, but again, unfortunately the gun misses the shot there, which that looked like a dead cert to go in, and just unfortunately didn't happen. But that one goes in no problem, right? And we're not quite hull down on that little ridge because we're just showing our hull, which, like I said, the hull armor on this tank is not great. And yeah, unfortunately the Cranvarn got a shot into us. We managed to bounce a shot on the Tiger 2 though, which is really unfortunate. I'm just looking what's behind me, and I actually realised that on the map they've got like, what, 4 tanks in front of us at DE45, and our whole team is behind me. So I don't want to go forward to engage them here. I want to wait, sit back in this position here where I can kind of hide my hull and use my turret and wait for them to come to me, because that way I can, you know, put shots in them as they have to overexpose to get shots at me. And if it goes south, I can just reverse south into my team, and hopefully my team will help, right? That's the hope. But nothing's pushing round, and that Cranvarn's actually gone up to CD56, and it's like, I thought that Cranvarn was going to come round for me. That's quite surprising. Okay, I'm looking at it. Now the heavy tank is pushing round, and oh dear, for Mr. Tiger 2, he's doomed. That's what I was hoping they'd start doing, but they didn't do it. They actually went somewhere else. But now I've got the heavy tank that's progressing up the 7 line. I've got the medium tank with me behind me now. It's like, okay, now I have support. That Tiger 2's gone. We know where the Cranvarn was. Let's just see if we can poke up somewhere and get a nice shot into someone. This dead wreck of the EBR is nice because that gives me protection to go hull down on. We get a shot into the side of the Cranvarn, which tracks him, but unfortunately doesn't do damage. We're just aiming for that drive wheel again to try and track him in place. We don't actually track him that time, but we do pen him, which is decent. And this dead wreck is good because it's making the shot for this guy hard to hit me. Unfortunately, he did hit my back end round the back side of the EBR, but it is what it is. He seems to be, well, the way I'm looking at him now, it looks like he's actually reloading, and both our TD and heavy tank have gone in, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up, see if we can get some shots in. We get to shut down the Waffle E100, which is nice, and we're just going to make sure that if we get a shot at this Cranvarn, I'm going to pen it, because I'm loading the APCR, but to be honest, our team is going in, the machine is going in on the Cranvarn, and we don't get to get another shot at it. And we'll finish the game with really nice total for the Sharpshooter. We'll finish with the victory. 4 kills, 5.4k damage, 1,000 assistance, ace tanker, 1,857 base XP. Another really nice game for the Sharpshooter. It's a very solid tier 9 medium tank. It's probably well worth grinding through whenever the contract becomes available. it's a nice all-round tank. Is it outrageously good? No. Is it bad? No. It's just pretty nice. Yeah, it's a pretty decent tank. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.